Good afternoon, everybody. I am Nicholas Bratzler with the Long Beach Fire Department. I'm a driver operator. I've been there for 4 years. Today we're going to talk about what a fire extinguisher is, how to identify the proper fire extinguisher, how to understand how to use it, how to demonstrate the proper usage of a fire extinguisher, recognize and identify and be able to inspect the fire extinguisher, as well as perform what is called the PASS acronym of a fire extinguisher. And we're going to go over that today in teaching you guys how to use a fire extinguisher and how to select a fire extinguisher for your home or your workplace, or for any outdoor uses that you might have it in your trailer or in your farmhouse or even in your tractors or on your lawnmowers. So without further ado, we're going to jump into the lesson, and I hope that this hits every point that you guys need to know and understand how to select properly for your family's well-being and safety what fire extinguisher to select. So the first thing you want to do is, most common fire extinguishers are going to be what's called ABC. Now there are 5 separate types of fire extinguishers, and A is ordinary combustible, such as the wood or the studs in your house, or say you have a wooden cutting board. B is going to be liquids, so gasoline, diesel, fuels, so on and so forth. C is going to be electrical. So the reason that your common household extinguisher is an ABC is because it covers all the most common grounds of what's going to be in your household. Whereas D is for combustible metals, such as magnesium, titanium, anything that's usually going to be an industrial type extinguisher. So, and each one of these categories can come with different types of extinguisher methods. Whereas K is for oils. So K is more for your kitchen. It's going to be for oils, fats, grease. That's the type of extinguisher you want to have in your kitchen in order to prevent the fire from spreading. Because an ABC extinguisher, while it is the standard practice of extinguishers, it's a dry chemical powder, and what that dry chemical does is actually corrodes metal over time. So such as like bleach will eat through your clothes, an ABC extinguisher will actually cause your pans, your pots, your stove, anything metal that it comes into contact with once it's been used, will cause corrosion and rust and actually eventually destroy that metal object. So that's why there's multiple types of extinguishers, such as a wet extinguisher or a dry chemical extinguisher. And you can also get an ABC in a dry or a wet extinguisher if you would prefer to have it as a wet extinguisher as opposed to a dry. It's going to do the exact same thing. It just depends, again, on the scenario that you're using it for. And whereas your D is going to be a CO2 extinguisher, which basically means that the CO2 extinguisher eliminates oxygen and it doesn't spray any powder or anything on that metal surface, because again, A, B, and C will corrode and rust that metal surface, whereas CO2 just eliminates oxygen required for fire to spread, which in turn eliminates the fuel that it has by taking out one of the elements of the 3 fire pyramids. And your K is again for grease. It's just meant to directly spray on your pan or inside of your pan or around your pan, and whereas opposed to putting water on it will actually cause it to increase, your class K extinguisher is designed to completely eliminate it. Much like if you take the top of your pot lid and you put it on the pot when your grease flares up or your oil flares up when you're frying, and you put it on top of the pot and it completely stops the fire. That is what your K extinguisher is meant for. Most people don't know that, and most people don't even have one in their home or know where to acquire one at. Usually, like I said, general practice, the ABC extinguisher is going to be what's commonly found everywhere, except for like an industrial plant, factory, maybe a coffee plant, anywhere that there's high volumes and levels of metal. They're going to have specialized extinguishers based upon safety precautions for what they're using and what they're dealing with. So we're going to go over the PASS method now, which basically means point, aim, squeeze, and sweep. Now when you look at a fire extinguisher, what you want to do is you want to identify all the safety points to make sure that your fire extinguisher is ready and valid and prepared to be used and not expired or in need of maintenance, because you don't want it to explode in your hand, you don't want it to cause damage, and you also most assuredly don't want it to not work. So by investigating and inspecting the fire extinguisher, what you're going to do is, first you're going to make sure the safety tag on the pin is still in place, and you can see that right here. And then you're also going to check the gauge. So every fire extinguisher comes with a full to empty gauge. If your gauge is in the green, it means you're good and it's full. Now, once you've inspected these, you can remove the tag, as it's a safety precaution. You can pull out the pin, and then you'll pick up on the handle and squeeze the top trigger, dispersing the extinguisher. And that's where your pass comes into play. So point, aim, squeeze, and sweep. You're going to point at whatever the fire is, and you want to get it as low as possible to the fire. So you want to hit the base of the flame and not the top of the flame, because you're only going to be knocking down the top half. You're not going to actually take care of where the fire is starting at. So you want to hit the base of the flame with the extinguisher, and you want to sweep across your body to the left and right in a forward motion as you move towards the fire. Now, of course, if you recognize the danger when you're using a fire extinguisher, you want to always have a way out. A fire extinguisher is not your only means of protection, and if it's not eliminating the fire, then you need to back up, you need to get out, you need to walk out the door that's behind you and get away from it, and you need to call the professionals. You need to call a fire department, because if it's something that your fire extinguisher at home can't eliminate, then the chances are you shouldn't be in there in the first place, and your safety is the highest priority over being a hero or trying to put the fire out. Call somebody who can put it out. Fire extinguishers are your first line of defense, but they are not your only line of defense. Now, moving forward with that, after you've used the extinguisher, you can get it refilled, but you will have to get it inspected. So each extinguisher is required to be inspected once a month visually, every 6 years annually checked, and if your tag on the extinguisher is expired, as in it's expired past its expiration date or the last time it's checked, you need to call a professional, have them come in and check the extinguisher. After 10 years, if you've been checking and inspecting and revalidating the test of the extinguisher, you need to call in an actual professional and you would do what's called a hydrostatic test. So they will take the extinguisher to make sure that the container itself is able to handle the pressure of being recharged and still being used as an extinguisher. And if they deem it unfit, then that is it. So with all of these points that I've talked about today, I do hope that you have more of an understanding of what an extinguisher is used for, how to apply it, the safety precautions of it, how to have it inspected and to check, and how to inspect it yourself visually once a month to make sure that it's not rusting or breaking or the handle is falling apart, and how to actually use the extinguisher by pointing, aiming, squeezing, and sweeping. And once the extinguisher is out, the extinguisher is out. If the fire is not out, get out. At that point, you need to call the fire department, because it's something that you can't manage on your own. With all that said, we're going to move forward to the evaluation phase of this lesson. So if all of you will follow me, we're going to go outside, and each one of the students is going to demonstrate what they have learned in the classroom and how to use the extinguisher, how to apply the pass method, and also they're going to demonstrate how to inspect this fire extinguisher in its gauge, its tag, its pin, its handle, and the integrity of the container itself, with no rust or anything along those lines for the extinguisher. So with that said, we're going to head outside and finish out the lesson outside. So I greatly appreciate all of your time, and if you will follow me out this door, we will continue the lesson elsewhere. All right, farewell.